Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of State of the Wizards. This is episode 59. This is the SOWCAST. I'm your host, K. Jose, one half of State of the Wizards, also one half of the Voices of the Unheard. I got a special guest on here. I'm going to definitely let this man introduce himself. He's no stranger to the show. So we're going to definitely talk about if the Wizards are going to stay put at 6 or if they're planning to move up in the draft. Before we even get started, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell them how they can
Yes, sir.
find you, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on, man. It's an honor to be on. You can follow me on YouTube. If you type in Ed Oliver Commanders or Ed Oliver Wizards, that will pop up on YouTube. And then Twitter, my name on Twitter is EDT30. So EDT FLATT. So that's where you guys can find me on YouTube and on Twitter.
All right. Don't mind the fact he got all the Commanders gear on. You know, this guy's on an
Yeah.
all-time high, man. So he got the jacket on, he got the flag in the background, he got everything. So
Right.
we're gonna talk Wizards. We're gonna talk Wizards. Yeah, he even got the cup in his hand.
Right.
So
I got my hat on now. I got my Wizards hat on now. So
he got his Wizards hat on, but he's still showing that mug. So I mean, we're gonna talk some Wizards hoop. So you know, I'm pretty sure you was upset about the results of the lottery. So I guess we can touch on that very briefly. How did you feel about the result of the lottery?
It was a gut punch, man. I was really upset. I haven't been that upset because I was foolish by getting my hopes up, and I did not think that they were. I believe personally, I don't care what anybody says because I know there's been a lot of back and forth, whether it's rigged or whether there's different motives for a certain team to get a higher pick, which I really feel that way this year with the whole Mavericks trading Luka and then they just automatically get the first pick. This is just a little too weird to me. It's a little too perfect. It's a little too scripted to not have anything with the higher ups, to not have anything to do with that, in my opinion. And then for the Wizards, of course, to get the 6th pick. And I tweeted out, I said, if the Wizards could have got the 9th pick, if there was a possible way where they didn't change the rule where we could only get the 6th pick, where that would be our worst pick, we probably would have got the 9th pick again. That's how much the NBA hates us, how much the NBA wants us to be irrelevant, and just our fortune or our luck, honestly. But no, it was a gut punch, and we really needed a top 3 pick. And my reasoning for why we needed a top 3 pick is because we just need a franchise guy, man. We just need a franchise guy. We need a game changer. Yes, you can find a good player at 6. Yes, you can find your diamond in the rough. Maybe you do find your Kawhi Leonard in the last part of the 1 through 10. There's teams that find that, like Giannis was the 13th pick of the draft, but that stuff just doesn't happen to the Wizards. And I get it. Will Dawkins and crew are here now, so we have a better scouting staff and a better decision makers. But it's just like we needed a layup, man. We needed a layup pick. We needed Dylan Harper. We needed Cooper Flagg. We needed one of the top 3 guys. I'm pretty big on Dylan Harper. I know we'll talk about those guys a little bit later, but I think we just needed a easy layup guy like Cooper Flagg or Ace, one of the 3. That's what we needed, man. And we just spent another season winning. We won 18 games.
Yeah.
So for us to win 18 games and sit through that and watch bad, and it's more development of basketball. So I wouldn't even call it bad. Some of it was bad with Kuzma, who got traded. But just watching some of that and sitting through that to end up with the 6th pick, the worst possible pick that we could have gotten, was just a gut punch for me. So I get it. There's some other guys that are good at pick 6. But for this franchise, we needed a franchise guy. We needed a game changer. And you look at the playoffs, teams that are making it far, they have an all-star player, they have a franchise guy. We don't have one yet. We don't have one right now. And I feel like we could have got one with either pick 1 or pick 2.
Yeah, and I get that. I mean, if you look at the teams that are in the finals, they got their franchise guy. Now, those guys wasn't drafted by their teams. They traded for those guys. So that's another thing some Wizards fans are saying too, that hey, you don't necessarily have to get your franchise player via the draft. You can trade for one, but you just got to know which particular player you're trading for. It's kind of like untapped potential, like SGA when he was traded to OKC, and then when you think about Tyrese Halliburton getting traded over to the Pacers, which the Kings are stupid in my opinion, but when you look at that, you can find your franchise player via draft. So let's talk about this draft. We're picking at 6. Who do you like at 6, man? Who do you like if we stay there at 6? And if
Uh-huh.
not, and you want them to move up in the draft, who would you like for them to move up in the draft? I mean, move up to get.
Mm-hmm. So I would love to move up and get Dylan Harper, man. He is so skilled, man. He gets downhill. He's a 3-level scorer. He can shoot. He can pass. He finishes through contact. Um, he whether he's a point guard, combo guard, whatever you want to call him, he's a franchise changer. And I really think he shouldn't go to the Spurs, man. They already have De'Aaron Fox. They already have Stephon Castle. Like, come on, man. Like he would get the keys to the car here. I think it would be perfect here. Him next to Bub, and whatever happens with Jordan Poole in the future. I just think Dylan Harper would be that guy, man. He has such a smooth game. He plays at his own pace. He can play fast. He can slow it down. Screen and roll. He's a good passer. Like he's just a dog out of Rutgers. I know they didn't win a lot of games, but that Spurs fit is so weird to me, man. And they could trade back. Who knows? We'll see. But it could be us. You know, we do have pick 6. We do have pick 18. We do have some guys that could possibly help the Spurs, make more than just make a little bit of a playoff push with Wemby and De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle. So, I mean, we'll see what happens there. But I really like Dylan Harper. I like Ace Bailey too, but for me, yeah, it's Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper, and then Ace Bailey for me. Those are the top 3 guys. But Dylan Harper's a dog, man. Like he can really score, and I think his like there's some numbers for him, like him finishing around the rim is like 70% or something like that. So yeah, he's and of course he learned from his dad how to play too. So I like Dylan Harper a lot.
Yeah, I like. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I ain't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So for me, like with Dylan Harper, I mean, I hear a lot of people bring him up a lot. He's a guard. We already got a slew of guards on this team.
Mm-hmm.
So bringing him on, you have to wonder about, well, what does that mean for guys like AJ Johnson? What does that mean for guys like Bub? A lot of people say, well, who cares? You bring him over and then you worry about that later. For me, I've always said we needed a wing. It was either Flag or Bailey. That's where I was at. We're not getting Flag. So I'm looking at Ace and I'm like, I know people have concerns about him. They talk about a shot diet, the type of shots that he takes. Well, he takes a lot of difficult shots. Listen, when he makes those difficult shots as well. I mean, I just looked at a clip of Paul George and Oladipo and KD making these shots, the tough shots. But people say, well, that's those guys. But at the end of the day, you got an 18-year-old that's able to hit those shots. So his demeanor that he has, as far as his confidence level, that he stays in the gym, he wants to get better. Plus, he got KD and Paul George co-signing him. T-Mac is co-signing him. I just look at that he would probably be more of what Will Dawkins is looking for. I mean, for Dylan Harper, I do wonder if some people probably say, well, yeah, he makes teammates better. But if you look at it, Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper both played on Rutgers, and they didn't lead that team to the tournament. A lot of that had to do with the supporting cast that they had around him. But I feel if you put the both of them two on George Washington, you're going to get the same results. So, no disrespect to George. Well, actually was disrespect to George Washington. But you get my point. I just think, if you have an opportunity to get somebody like Ace, I think we shouldn't overthink it. I know a lot of people are talking about Trey Johnson, and I'm hearing more guards than anything. He's either Trey Johnson, Dylan Harper, or Jeremiah Fears is what I'm hearing a lot. People want a guard. I don't know if we got a lot to move up to number 2. If the Milwaukee Bucks is a team that's really trying to get up in the mix, New Jersey might, not New Jersey, but Brooklyn might be another team that's trying to get up in the mix. For some reason, I think we're looking at that 3rd slot that maybe we might have something to move up there. Maybe the 6 and the 18 and throw a player in there like maybe Corey Kispert. I'm not too sure. But Ace would be kind of like my go-to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I just feel like right now we're at BPA status because we're just in that developmental phase because we're going to be bad again this year because the whole top protected 8th pick. So we're going to have we don't want to give up that pick. And the whole debate on whether we want to be competitive or not, but we're not. We're just going to bottom out again and get that 8th pick. So I just feel like right now, and then who knows what's going to happen with Jordan Poole at the deadline. Same thing with Marcus Smart and Middleton's still on the roster right now. So it's a lot of guys right now. But I just think right now we have to go BPA. If we were more in win now mode, then I would kind of look to, what piece would fit to help us motor us to win. And then, Blau's on the mix too right now. So I know I've seen mock trades with, people trying to throw Blau in trades too, so we'll see what happens with that. I don't think it's going anywhere, but for me, yeah. So I like Ace too. I mean, you can throw Derek Queen in the mix too. I've seen a lot of him. I've even seen him drop to 18 now over the weekend. I saw a mock draft.
Right,
I think that's ridiculous in my opinion. He's way better than the 18th pick. I know there's some reports about him, not the motor in his game and the weight and stuff like that. I can see some of the weight, but I think he's definitely going to shed some weight right now and before he gets drafted. But of course, he's a local guy, so we've all seen him a lot. We've gotten a lot of exposure to him, and he's a darn good player. Not only is he a good scorer, but he rebounds the ball. He can pass the ball very well. Defensively, yes, there's concerns because he plays a old school game. So there are guys are going to blow by him. He is going to struggle with that, but I just think his offensive game is, and you do have to change your offense for him. Like you're going to have to slow the game down. You're just going to have to let him ISO it out. Like that's the only way you can get the best out of him is by ice. You look at the Maryland games, they were throwing the ball. He would get it at the top of the key or the free throw line or at the block, face up, and he would take about a good 5 to 8 seconds to make something happen. But he would make something happen sometimes. So that's the thing with him. Are you going to tailor your offense to him, and how does he fit next to Alex Sarr? So I think he would fit well next to Alex Sarr because he's just so talented.
Right.
That's something you have to think about too. So is he worth a 6th pick? I think he is. I think he's a top 10 pick. That's a fact. He's a top 10 pick for sure. He should not drop all the way to 18. I think if he drops to 18th, then that's just like that's a smear campaign in my opinion. He should not be at 18 at all.
It wouldn't be the first time we've seen that. If you think about it, look how far Cam Whitmore had dropped.
Right, yeah.
So it wouldn't be the first time. So who would you not want us to draft at 6?
At 6? So the young man out of Duke, I have trouble pronouncing his name's Knuppel.
Malawa?
Yeah. So him or even the other guy.
Oh, you talking about
Knuppel. And I do like Knuppel. He's not a bad player. I think he's a good player too. But the big man, I like you pronounce his name good, the 7'2" guy. So my thing about him is he had a game in the tournament where he struggled to rebound the ball. And I'm just like, man, you're 7'2". Exactly. You got a board, man. And he's a good player, like playing above the rim, finishing above the rim. There's a lot of ways he could be another defensive anchor. If you have Sarr and him on the floor at the same time, or just alternating, being defensive anchors like that, where Sarr could play the 4 and then the big out of Duke would be your 5. Just protecting the rim and boarding, because he had a couple good games where he boarded well. It just left a bad taste seeing that last game where he struggled to rebound. Like that can't happen. That shouldn't happen. So I do have my concerns about him, but I can see the upside because I see a lot of people really, really, really high on him where he could be, I guess, like a Gobert, where he would be a defensive stalwart, a good rebounder. The offensive game is not there yet, clearly, but still very young, and you just can't teach you just can't teach 7'2" and running the floor like a gazelle and playing above the rim. So I see the upside there for him.
Yeah, you kind of stole my thunder with some of the concerns you have about him as well. At one point, I was kind of high on him, and I looked at it like, you have him and Sarr, you create your twin towers. But then, like you said, that tournament game just left a bad taste in my mouth. I mean, like, you're 7'2". What is his wingspan, like 9 feet or something like that? He got a crazy wingspan, but you didn't grab any rebounds in the tournament game. Like you can't do that. And then when I saw that, all I thought of was Hashim Thabit. He was another guy that came into the league out of UConn with all his potential, and then you saw how to with his NBA career. Matter of fact, they both the same height. So I have those concerns about him. Can he be a defensive anchor? Absolutely. I mean, he's a guy that teams will still have to find out where he is on the court. But Sarr doesn't really rebound at a high rate. but then you draft another guy who doesn't rebound the ball at a high rate. You can't have two guys in that paint. Somebody got to rebound. So that's one of my concerns with him is like, can he rebound at a high rate? And I just get the Hashim Thabit vibes. I just get that. But I had this feeling that there's going to be a team that's going to probably draft him a little bit higher than they should. And we're going to probably see.
Yeah, the Sixers are. I've seen some reports. The Sixers are pretty high on him too,
and it's understandable why they will be high on him because whatever is the situation with Joel Embiid's health, and they could be just thinking about just for the youth. But there will be a team that's going to draft him a little bit higher than they should. Because from what I'm hearing anyway, it seems like Ace and VJ Edgecombe, those are two players that I'm hearing that's kind of like slipping in the draft. And it's more like Fears and Trey Johnson along with Malawash that might be moving up. So it's a possibility that VJ and Ace could be available at 6. And some people will prefer to take VJ over Ace because they like VJ's upside as far as defensive. I mean, but his height does concern me a little bit. Shooting is not really up to par. Some people think he could be like an Oladipo type, maybe. I'm not quite too sure if he could be that. I mean, you kind of want a player that can put the ball in a hoop, and we do need that. I think if we did draft VJ, it would more so be about fit than anything. I wouldn't sit there and say he would be BPA. You just basically just draft him and just with the hopes that he'll live up to his potential. Who do you like at 18 if we keep that 18th pick?
So 18, I do like Danny Wolf.
Okay.
Out of Michigan, I do like him. He had a really good year this year, especially being a Maryland fan myself, watching him battle against Derek Queen, where a lot of 7-foot guys, a lot of the stuff he does, step backs, pulling up from 3 during Euro steps, spin moves out of the post. There's a lot of really good things that he does, and just a lot of things that you can't teach,
right?
For a 7-footer. So I do like Fleming. I don't know if he's going to drop that far, but Cedric Coward is a guy too who's kind of like his range. Cedric Coward's range is so weird from what I've seen from mock drafts and the whole draft consensus out there, where I could see Cedric Coward going top 10. I've seen some mocks where he's gone 15, 16, 17, 18. I've seen early 20s for him too, but he's very talented. I know his career trajectory, I think he was like D2 and then he transferred or something like that. That's his story or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So he's really, really blossomed. Good passer. He can post up. He likes to ISO it out a lot too. His game and his pace, nobody can really speed him up. I've seen him, do a bunch of pull-up threes, post up, mid-range game, pick and roll, where he's ball handling. He's been a point forward out there, so I think he can really help this team out too. Really, really good defender too. Really good shot blocker as well. So I think him at 18, if he does drop that far, I think he would be a solid pick for the Wiz.
Okay. Yeah, I like Fleming a lot as well. He's a guy who I'm kind of semi-high on. He looks more like he could be a glue guy. Can kind of mix it up a little bit. He has a high motor. Sorber out of Georgetown, I didn't really see him play enough, but he's another guy that I actually kind of grew to like. Danny Wolf, I like him a lot. Danny Wolf's game reminds me of, Şengün, maybe with a little bit of Jokic in him, to your point, step back threes, Euro step, all of those things. I mean, he would be a nice fit alongside of Sarr, where if Sarr's having a bad game, he's a guy that can pretty much pick up the slack. That's if we manage to keep that 18th pick. So he wouldn't be a bad player that I would take. You got so many guys that went back to college, man, because of the NIL, that it kind of took away some of the other players that I would like. There was one guy that I was kind of high on, and then I saw his measurements, and that was Johnny Broom. And when he barely got up off the ground, I said, "Oh, hell no, we don't need a guy like that."
Did Johnny Broom go back to college, or he had to stay?
No, he's I think he's still staying in there. To be honest with you, after that, he should go back to college because it looked like he had cement in his feet when I looked at it, I'm like, damn, he didn't touch anything. So I'm looking at him and I'm like, nah, man, I'm all for him. I couldn't even tell you who I would like for us to take with the second round pick if we even keep that.
Right, right. I
Well,
do
I
like so Neek Clifford out of Colorado State.
okay,
And I got to see a little bit of him too because I remember when Maryland beat Colorado State in the with the buzzer beater, and Neek Clifford he's a jack of all trades kind of guy.
right,
Watching him play, he's a really good athlete, mid range game. He's kind of just solid at everything, not great at one thing. But and he's really athletic too. He's got that dog in him. Played a little dirty in that game against Maryland where he threw an elbow. So I'm not condoning being dirty and stuff like that. But I do like we do need a lot of dogs on the team.
right,
He can play that forward role too, but he does need the ball in his hands to be successful. So him playing off ball is something that I do kind of want to see him improve at. So pick 18, he's a guy that might be a wild card there, 18. So I would take a look at him too. But as far as like second round guys, Johnny Broom. One thing I will say about Johnny Broom is that he does have a motor. He is a winner. There's a will, there's a way with him, man. He finds a way to score. He's a heck of a rebounder. He may just be like a really good college player though.
yeah.
Kind of like who's the guy who went to Gonzaga a long time ago? Not a long time ago, but he was the center, big man. He's in the G League right now, tearing it up. But I can't remember the guy's name, but
You talking about Drew Timmy?
Yeah, there you go, Drew Timmy. That's who Johnny Broom may be. He may just be a really, really, really good college player, and he may get some minutes in the league. He may get some minutes, kind of like how Tracy Jackson Davis is right now for the Warriors. Maybe he could have a role like that coming off the bench, give you like eight boards on a good day and 9 points on a good day.
Yeah, I actually there's that one Chinese kid, his name
Mm-hmm.
Yang Henson. I've kind of been keeping the watch of him like the last couple of weeks. I know at his team he put up like the average is like 15, almost 16 points and pull down 10 rebounds. I mean, he wouldn't be bad for a
Mm-hmm.
second round pick. He wouldn't be a bad option either alongside of Sarr. He's only 19 years old. I know he turns 20
Right.
this month, as a matter of fact. So he wouldn't be a bad player to get either if you have him, especially if you're not too sure what's going to happen with Vuk. If you're going to keep him or not in the long term. I actually like Vuk, but
Right.
it kind of goes back to what I said. Well, when with Malaloch, like we need somebody that's going to rebound. We need somebody that's going to do the things that Sarr is not going to do. Sarr is not going to play the 5. Ladies and gentlemen, he prefers to play the 4. He wants to face up. He wants to freelance, go out there and shoot threes.
Mm-hmm.
He's not really going to be physical with too many players. You need somebody that's going to go down there and grab the rebounds, and he can grab rebounds. So he would be somebody that I like if he's even in the second round. He may creep up and be a late first round pick.
Right. Yeah, I know it's off topic, but would you have Sarr playing the summer league again?
Yeah.
You
I would. Yeah, I would. I would have him, Bub, AJ. I have them all playing the summer league again.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, I would definitely have them. Yeah, I would like for them to kind of build that chemistry up. Even with Keyshawn, I would have Keyshawn in there, playing in the summer league. I would like to see that. But you never know. Sarr might want to play for his country. I don't know.
Right.
But I would like to see those guys play in the summer league, build up some more chemistry, work on their game, work on their craft. That makes me think of Bilal. Like for Bilal, I would have to say this because I'm pro Bilal, but I will have to be honest. I would like to see more improvement in his game as far as his ball handling, him being able to hit that mid range. I think it's very important that he shows some type of improvement. Not saying he has not, but I like to see him go to another level with his game because you don't want it to get to where he's looking for a contract extension and then depending on the situation or how the way things turn out in next year's draft, because you got to think if we keep that pick and let's just say we luck up and be in the top 3, then you're talking about either AJ, you're talking about maybe one of the Boozer twins. It'll only be just that one. You don't know who you're going to get. And you got to make a roster spot for one of those guys. So I would just like to see for Bilal this upcoming season, because I'm almost be tempted to say I would like for him to play at least 2 or 3 games in the summer league just to see what we got. But I like to see some type of improvement from him.
Yeah, and then some other guys I do like. So Hunter Salas out of Wake Forest. He's been
Okay.
around for a long time in college. I always think about the game last year where they beat Duke. They had a big upset over Duke where he had 30 points, I think.
Yeah.
He's just a bucket getter, man. And we talk about offense. I know we struggled offensively this year. I think we were like almost 30th in efficiency or bottom 5 in points, bottom 5 3-point shooting. And this guy coming off the bench, like he's real herky jerky. You talk about and1 mixtape guys that can mix guys in a phone booth and whatnot, and loves playing through contact. Hunter Salas is a really good player that I think could come in and score off the bench for a second round pick. There's one guy, Thero. I think he went to Arkansas. Yeah, he went to Arkansas.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
He's just an athlete. So second round, you're kind of just throwing darts. Just who's super athletic, who can score. Thero is an athlete, man, and I think he got better as the season went along. He had like 23 points against Baylor, and he just from a standing jump, he's like 6'6", 6'7". I feel like he's still growing just from a standing jump. He can just get the ball. So he has the same athleticism like archetype as Jonathan Kuminga when I watch him play.
Right.
And then Tyrese Proctor. I know he didn't finish the season well in the tournament, but he is 7
I like him too.
Baylor, so he's a baller. He's a good player. I'm not going to let one game define his career. And I think in the second round, if you want to take a flyer on him, I think that's another guy you could take a flyer on right there too.
Yeah, I like him too as well. Being so he's from Duke, I'm pretty sure a lot of Maryland fans ain't gonna want him here, but he's a good game manager. That I can say.
Right.
He manages the game. I know we didn't really talk about him too much, but Knipple, I just like I know some people. There ain't so many people that's kind of high on him, but I just look at Con Knipple as a player that you put on a win now team. He can just plug and play. He's more of a role player, in my opinion. Some people try to hype him up like he can be this do it all type player, but I just think he's better off going on a playoff team. Like I wouldn't draft him in the top 10. At least I wouldn't. He should definitely go on a team where they're going to be in the playoffs, because if you draft him and you're expecting him to be kind of like your end all be all guy, you're going to be in a world of a disappointment.
Right. Yeah. And then I got to watch a little bit of Igor Demon out of BYU.
Yeah.
A heck of a passer, great facilitator, 6'9" guy. So definitely not a pick 6 in my opinion. But I do see a team who definitely could fall in love with a guy like that who can facilitate, and 3-point shooting a little inconsistent, but you can't teach that height and just that vision that he has.
Yeah.
So and just the length that he has. So I could definitely see somebody falling in love with that guy, but he's definitely going top 10.
Yeah, I think the team that I can see fall in love with him is Utah.
Right.
And just because the fact some of it has to do with the fact he played at BYU, but some people I guess he would fit a Dawkins type of prototype because you think of the Josh Giddey comparisons, but I'm just not too high on drafting a guy like that can't shoot.
Yeah, 27%.
That's the same thing with the kid out of what's his name out of Illinois. I call him Kate. What's his Cass Yuccahonis? I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I watched him play, and he didn't really impress me as much, but he may go top 15 in the draft. I think he's a big guard as well, plays point guard, but he wasn't that really impressive to me. So I guess it just depends on what we do. Let me ask you this, man. What you think about the rumors pertaining to Cam Whitmore, possibly getting moved? Would you like to see him in D.C. or what?
Yeah, so I loved Cam Whitmore coming out. That's actually who I wanted us to draft that night a couple years ago. No disrespect to Bilal. I like Bilal as a player. I think he's a good player. But and Cam Whitmore has had his struggles too. We've heard some of the things where he hasn't been the greatest locker room guy and certain things like that. It hasn't worked out. It's been up and down. He had a G League stint and then got moved back up. But I just, you can't teach that dog, and he's got that dog in him. He's Baltimore tough, super physical. One of the last games of the season. I know it was kind of like a preseason game against the Lakers, but the Lakers did play their starters, and he had like 30 points. But the Rockets they sat a lot of their guys, And he just showcased. I mean, he can score, man. He can put it up. He's a superb athlete. So I mean, adding him to the mix. I don't know what you would give up for him. I know his value has really, really diminished. So I wouldn't give up much. You're definitely not giving up 6 or 18 because of some of the extracurricular things that have happened with him since then, and some of the up and down play. So, but Cam Whitmore's a dog. So I actually, my gut, I would be out on bringing him in. I would see what AJ Johnson has. I would see what this last year, Bilal, not last year. I don't know if that was but I want to see what this next season of Bilal, this next season of AJ Johnson, Keyshawn George, and then you're potentially going to add 2 more rookies. So, and I've seen some articles where it's like, hey, the Wizards, they do need to kind of start this timeline of being competitive again, instead of adding so many young people, because we have so many young guys on the roster. Bub is young, Keyshawn's young, Sar is young, AJ is young. I mean, we just had Tristan Vukcevic is still a young player. So, but to get back to Cam Whitmore at this point, I would pass on him. But I love his game, man. Like I said, I really wanted to draft him when that draft.
I like his game a lot too. I wanted to. I would have liked to draft him along with Bilal. I wasn't completely out on him, but the difference between him and, let's say, Johnny Davis' stint in the G League is Cam Whitmore can actually score when he's given NBA minutes, whereas we didn't see much of shit from Johnny Davis when he was given NBA minutes. So there's a big difference. And, people said that Johnny Davis had dog in him. I didn't see it. I didn't see that dog in him at all. I sometimes wondered if he was even concerned about basketball. But when it comes to Cam Whitmore, the talent is there. I guess it would just matter about fit, where he is. Could he accept being a role player coming off the bench and being a microwave, or is he the type that wants to start? I think those are questions that you would have to ask when it comes down to him. What role would you like to play? Do you mind coming off the bench, or do you feel that you should be a starter? And we've always had that problem with players like Kuzma, like I guess we could say with Jordan Poole to some degree, where these players couldn't accept their roles. So I'm not out on Cam Whitmore, but I do think it would create a serious logjam if we did add him on there, because somebody would have to go. That means you would have to sacrifice one of your younger guys. You either sacrifice a Bilal or, Keyshawn to get him over here. That's how the way I would view it.
Right. And the whole Johnny Davis thing, I mean, wow, it's just, I don't want to I'm not gonna rag on Johnny too hard, but man, that pick, he was the 10th pick. Missing on that pick really, really hurt. I'm not gonna say it changed the trajectory of the franchise, but it kind of did. If you could have just got something out of that 10th pick, I mean, you had Jalen Williams there. Trying to think who else that we could have drafted at that time.
Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren was there.
Jalen Williams with the Thunder. A couple guys that you could name there. But if you could have at least got a role player, because you didn't even get that out of Johnny. You didn't even get a role player, like a Corey Kispert level type of role player. So I mean that really hurt the franchise, and I think that ultimately led to the demise of Tommy Shepard. I think that pick was like the nail in the coffin.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it had to be the nail in the coffin. I mean, you already shot yourself in the foot with the Bill contract, and then you turn around, you draft Johnny Davis. He goes to the G League. He's coming off the bench. The G League. He's coming off the bench, ladies and gentlemen, in the G League. Yeah. I said a while ago he should have went undrafted, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know if he still has an endorsement with Taco Bell, but I'm pretty sure he does.
Greenberger Betterman too. Greenberger Betterman too. Those commercials.
Oh yeah, they dropped him too. And even with him getting that endorsement with them, it still didn't help his game at all, not one bit. So, and then he's in the G League now with the New York Knicks. He plays for the Winchester Knicks. Yeah, so that should tell you something. He stays in the G League.
He's gonna be in the summer league too.
He might be in the Chinese league the way he's going. So
yeah, with the going Tigers, man.
He might as well go out there and become a legend. I mean, yeah, and with us saying that that's just letting everybody know that Will Dawkins is here. It's not the Tommy Shepard, Ernie Grunfeld days anymore. That's the reason why when it came down, we were landing. I felt we were going to fall somewhere between 3 and 6. And I know why fans was upset, because it's the PTSD that we still have as fans. We sometimes forget that we have a general manager, we have a scouting department, we have a front office that knows what the hell they're doing. So for us to land at 6, it's like doom and gloom. But we don't have Tommy Shepard or Ernie Grunfeld making that pick. We have a general manager that knows exactly what he's doing. So I'm hoping that he's going to make some type of move. He doesn't settle. So we really just don't know what's going to happen. But I don't look at it as like doom and gloom like some other fans do. But I get why those fans look at it that way, because of the PTSD of this franchise. And let's call it what it is. The NBA ain't gonna do us any favors because we haven't done ourselves any damn favors. Do we have to go over the Chris Webber trade, the Richard Hamilton trade, giving up on Ben Wallace? Like, look at all the moves that we've made in the past. Why would the NBA want to do us any favors when we shoot ourselves in the foot? And then the Bradley Beal contract, you give him this contract, you throw a no trade clause in the contract. Phoenix wants to get rid of him, and Bill is saying, well, I hold all the cards. I'm not trying to uproot my family like I had to when I left DC. So now Phoenix is saying, well, damn, I guess we got to move KD then. And KD is like, well, damn, you want to move me? What you want to move me for? Move this guy. But they can't. So as a fan, the brighter days is going to come. But we have a general manager that knows what he's doing. We got draft capital. Look at OKC, man. Look at where they're at. OKC is in the finals, and they got draft picks for like the next 5-6 years. Yeah. So they're playing with house money. That's kind of like what Will Dawkins is setting us up for. So when we're competitive, we're going to have a slew of draft picks that we can play with house money, and we'll be able to go out there and trade for a player. Let me say this too, and I'll end it. For those of you fans out there that was hollering about you wanted Zion Williamson, did you just not see what happened to this dude, man? Luckily for that lawyer, he decided he didn't want to take the case. But I don't want Zion Williamson here in D.C. and had that nutcase coming here too. I don't, man. Look, man.
That's the last.
No to Zion, okay?
The last thing we need him here is going to Rose Bar and getting involved where John Wall used to go and getting caught up with all the ladies and stuff like that. That's the last thing we need and going on U Street. I mean, he would definitely go crazy out here in DC, especially all the good food out here too. All the mumbo sauce and chicken wings, like that man would probably
keep him away from that. Keep him away from all of that. We just don't need that. But you don't want this woman. You don't want that woman that he was dealing with the black market BBL running all over the place, talking about how, that he has a small wee and he's fat. Keep that dude out of here, man. Don't bring him here. I don't want us trading anything for him. So let Zion Williamson go to Brooklyn, and she can go up there and bother him there.
Right. Nah, yeah, we don't. Yeah, we got a good culture.
All right, man. So that will conclude the episode of State of the Wizards, man. Oh no, I didn't cut you off.
No, go ahead.
No, I said that should is conclude this episode of State of the Wizards. Appreciate you coming up here, chopping it up, man. Go ahead and let you get back to your Commanders convo. Which what I'm gonna give you a little bit of a moment. What you think you guys gonna do this upcoming season? What y'all gonna do?
So I definitely have us making the playoffs. Making the NFC Championship was definitely awesome for us, for the DMV. I mean, we need, as you know, we've been so bad for years. We needed that, and we finally have a good quarterback in Jaden Daniels. But to answer your question, I think we do make the playoffs. As far as the NFC Championship, obviously that's a tall task to make it there. That's why it was so crazy that we made it. But I have us making the playoffs. I'll say that I have us making the playoffs. 11-6 is my prediction.
Oh, 11-6. I guess I can't say nothing to you about that. You guys went 12-5, so can't say anything too much about that. But we do play you guys this upcoming season. The Raiders, as I'm a Raiders fan, so we do play you guys this upcoming season. I hope y'all can tackle because we got ourselves a running back. Yeah, so you fools can't tackle. I don't know, but okay. All right. Well, you got any shout outs you want to give before we end this?
Yeah. So I just got my YouTube channel right now, and then another YouTube channel called Commanders Kings. If you guys want to subscribe to that too, I do it with 3 other good guys. Louis T, Street Scores, and Real Robinson. They're all other Commanders content creators. But yeah, shout out to you, State of the Wizards. Awesome channel. You've been doing it for years, and it's not easy doing a Wizards channel. I'll tell you that. It's not easy doing a Wizards channel, man.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, it's not easy. But brighter days is going to come. Sooner or later, we'll have something positive to talk about for a change. Like I said, as long as we don't do something stupid as trading for Zion Williamson. So that concludes this episode. You guys have a wonderful evening. Peace.